1. James Gunn's heartbreaking decision, firing Henry Cavill as Superman. 2. James Gunn's plan to bring Henry Cavill back to DC. 1. James Gunn's heartbreaking decision, firing Henry Cavill as Superman. Imagine being in a situation where the studio you're leading suddenly pulls the rug out from under a beloved actor, all while trying to rebuild a cinematic universe. That's exactly what James Gunn faced when Henry Cavill was let go as Superman in the DCU. But here's where it gets controversial. How did a star with 3 films under his belt end up sidelined during a major franchise reboot? And this is the part most people miss. Gunn's candid account of the chaos reveals far more than just a casting change. It's a window into studio politics and the human cost of creative decisions. As the architect of DC Studios' post-WBD merger, Gunn found himself in a tricky spot when Cavill's Superman return was teased during a 2022 Black Adam cameo. Unbeknownst to the actor, Gunn was already deep in crafting a reboot centered on a younger version of the character. The clash of timelines and visions became a casualty of shifting leadership at DC, leaving Cavill high and dry after his 3-film run. The studio ultimately chose David Corenswet for the role in 2023, marking Gunn's debut as DCU head. Yet the fallout from this decision remains a hot topic in Hollywood circles. Gunn recently opened up on Josh Horowitz's *Happy Sad Confused* podcast, calling the situation terrible and unfair. He recounted the surreal moment when, just after finalizing his DC Studios deal, news of Cavill's return broke. "We knew the plan was to start fresh with *Superman*, Gunn explained, but suddenly, the studio was doubling down on the old guard. The director painted a picture of internal disarray, with conflicting priorities, and a lack of clear direction under former CEO David Zaslav. It was like herding cats," he quipped, and poor Henry got caught in the crossfire. The meeting with Cavill, however, was anything but hostile. "He handled it with grace," Gunn noted, praising the actor's professionalism. Cavill even requested the right to announce his own exit, a gesture Gunn called a class act. But here's the twist: despite the split, Gunn isn't closing doors. He hinted at a potential future role for Cavill in the DCU, saying, "I'd love to put Henry in something else." Could this be a strategic olive branch, or a nod to Cavill's enduring fanbase? And this is where opinions will clash. Was it fair for the studio to prioritize a new direction over an actor who had already defined Superman for millions? Should franchises be more loyal to their stars, even when rebranding? Share your thoughts below. Do you think Cavill's exit was a necessary step for DC's revival? Or did it show a lack of respect for his legacy? The debate is far from over. 2. James Gunn's plan to bring Henry Cavill back to DC. Imagine a scenario where a beloved character could make a surprising return. When James Gunn took the reins to reshape the future of DC's superhero films, one of his earliest and most controversial decisions was to part ways with Henry Cavill, the actor who had been portraying Superman. In a recent conversation with Josh Horowitz on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, Gunn opened up about the difficult moment when he and producer Peter Safran had to inform Cavill that he would not reprise his role as the iconic superhero. However, amidst this bittersweet narrative, there's a glimmer of hope. Gunn has expressed a strong interest in potentially bringing Cavill back into the DC universe, but this time as a completely different character. Gunn candidly shared that it was a terrible experience to deliver the news to Cavill, emphasizing the importance of doing it face-to-face rather than over the phone. He described Cavill as an absolute gentleman during this challenging conversation, noting that Cavill requested the opportunity to announce his departure from the role himself, wanting to personally inform fans that he would not be returning as Superman in any upcoming DC films. The conversation took an intriguing turn when Horowitz posed a pivotal question: would it be too confusing to cast him in your DC universe? Gunn's response was unequivocal. He stated that it would absolutely not be confusing at all. He elaborated, saying, "As another character, and confirmed that they had indeed discussed this possibility with Cavill on that very day. "I would love to put Henry in something," he added, leaving fans buzzing with excitement. Interestingly, there's already a precedent for such casting decisions within the DC universe. Jason Momoa, who portrayed Aquaman in 6 films under the now-defunct DCEU, is set to take on the role of Lobo in the upcoming Supergirl film. This isn't just a hypothetical situation, it's a reality that has already unfolded. Moreover, it's worth noting that Momoa shared the screen with Cavill's Superman in both versions of Justice League, making this transition even more plausible. So, could James Gunn effectively remedy the fallout from DC's most shocking firing by reintroducing Henry Cavill as a different character? The only lingering question is, which character would that be? One of the most amusing possibilities would be casting Cavill as a new version of Batman or Bruce Wayne in the DCU, although that seems rather unlikely. On the other hand, there are numerous villainous roles that Cavill could embody within this universe. Just imagining him as Brainiac or Darkseid is already thrilling. Additionally, there are other Kryptonian characters that Cavill could portray. For instance, if Gunn decides to explore storylines involving the Bottle City of Kandor, a shrunken fragment of Krypton that Superman sometimes keeps in his Fortress of Solitude, Cavill could take on the role of Van Zee, a Kryptonian hero and cousin of Superman who adopts the superhero identity of Nightwing. In summary, the possibilities for Henry Cavill's return to the DC film landscape are vast and varied. With the new Superman project steering the franchise in an optimistic direction, it seems that the door is wide open for exciting developments. What do you think? Would you like to see Cavill return in a new role, and if so, which character do you envision him playing? Share your thoughts in the comments.